These structures transcend notions of what humans are capable of creating, and occasionally they even appear to defy gravity. Get ready for some eye-catching visuals. These incredible constructions, especially those erected in the distant past before machines were available to assist in their construction, appear to be too ornate, large, sophisticated, or detailed to have been built by mankind. However, the most stunning structures and monuments serve as examples of human ingenuity and achievement. Some cities have more than one, so we could write an entire piece about Paris alone. Nevertheless, we looked all across the world for the buildings that most amaze, inspire, and mystify us. Even though we might not be able to see them all in person, we can travel the world to visit them online. Keep watching to know more about the greatest man-made wonders. Hello and welcome back to our channel. We'll examine the top 30 man-made wonders of the world in this video. But first, if you want to be sure you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, ring the bell and subscribe to our channel. Let's begin then. Number 30, the Eiffel Tower. Paris is home to numerous stunning landmarks, including Notre Dame, the Louvre, the Arc de Triomphe, and many others. Even though it has only been a part of the city for 131 years, the Eiffel Tower continues to be the most recognizable feature of France's capital. The 300-meter-tall Iron Tower was built for the 1889 World's Fair and was designed by Gustave Eiffel. It was constructed in just over 2 years, which was thought to be a record at the time. In describing his straightforward yet stunning design, Eiffel said, "Before coming together at the lofty pinnacle, the uprights appeared to burst out of the ground, and in a way to be sculpted by the force of the wind." Restaurants are located on the first and second levels of the tower's 3 tourist levels. The topmost platform of the top level is 276 meters or 906 feet above the earth, making it the highest public observation deck in the European Union. Tickets can be purchased for the escalator or elevator to go to the first and second levels. Over 300 stairs separate the first level from the ground level, and another 300 steps separate the first level from the second level for a total of 600 steps in the ascent. Although there is a stairway leading to the top floor, a lift is typically the sole way to access it. Number 29, the Taj Mahal. With diamonds, calligraphy, floral and geometric patterns, and a lace-like design in white marble that reflects the shifting hues of the light in front of a dazzling reflecting pool, India's Taj Mahal, the most beautiful tomb ever built, appears delicate and sophisticated. The mausoleum took 20 years to construct and was ordered in 1632 by Emperor Shah Jahan for his wife Mumtaz Mahal, who had passed away shortly after giving birth to their 14th child. An entrance, a mosque, a guest house, gardens, and 4 minarets are also included in the complex. The embellishments encircling Mumtaz Mahal's cenotaph, or artificial grave inside the Taj Mahal, are equally ornate. Her actual remains are interred below at ground level. Although the mausoleum's construction was substantially finished in 1643, other project phases required a further 10 years of work. The Taj Mahal complex is thought to have been finished in its entirety in 1653 at a cost estimated at the time to be around 32 million rupees, or roughly 70 billion rupees, almost $1 billion in modern currency. A board of architects chaired by Ustad Ahmad Lahori, the emperor's court architect, oversaw the construction project, which employed some 20,000 workers. The Taj uses a variety of symbolism to depict the divine and the beauty of nature. Number 28, the Pyramids at Giza. The 3 ancient Egyptian pyramids outside of Cairo, which are the only ones of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing, are home to the tombs of 3 pharaohs, Khufu, his son Khafre, and his son Menkaure. Khufu's pyramid, which originally stood 139 meters tall, is known as the Great Pyramid because it is the largest. The 3 incredible buildings took 70 years to complete, from approximately 2575 to 2465 BCE. Although it's not quite clear how the stone blocks from local quarries were raised into the pyramid shapes, experts are of the opinion that tens of thousands of farmers, not slaves, constructed them during the off-season. Whatever the method of construction, the majestic pyramids are still standing today to surprise people as they did thousands of years ago because the work was done solidly. The Great Pyramid has 3 recognized rooms. The pyramid's base was cut into the bedrock, but the lowest level was left incomplete. Higher up in the pyramidal construction are the so-called Queen's Chamber and King's Chamber, which both contain granite sarcophagi. Some people think that Himunu, also known as Hemon, Khufu's vizier, was responsible for designing the Great Pyramid. Many different scientific and non-scientific theories make an effort to describe the precise construction methods. The tombs for Khufu's personal family and court, which included 3 smaller pyramids for Khufu's wives, an even smaller satellite pyramid, and 5 buried solar barges, could all be found in the complex of funerary structures that surrounded the pyramid. Number 27, the Golden State Bridge. San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge, one of the most well-known in the world and possibly the most breathtaking, crosses the Golden Gate Strait, which connects the San Francisco Bay to the Pacific Ocean. The suspension bridge's most recognizable feature, in addition to the eye-catching towers and flowing cables, is the distinctive color known as International Orange painted on the steel framework. When the bridge's construction started in 1933, the color, however, wasn't an easy sell. Irving Morrow, a consulting architect, wrote to the bridge's board of directors to persuade them that the Golden Gate Bridge is one of the greatest monuments of all time. Its unheard-of scope and breadth, as well as its beauty of form and independence of thought, all demand a special and unorthodox approach from every angle, not letting down in color what has been so played up in form. The bridge, one of the most internationally recognized icons of San Francisco and California, was named one of the wonders of the modern world by the American Society of Civil Engineers. Engineer Joseph Strauss created the first version of it in 1917. The Golden Gate Strait, which it crosses, inspired the bridge's name. Frommer's travel guide refers to the Golden Gate Bridge as perhaps the most beautiful and undoubtedly the most photographed bridge in the world, with a primary span of 4,200 feet and a total height of 746 feet. It was the world's longest and highest suspension bridge at the time of its construction in 1937. Number 26. Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. Parliament, Big Ben. Everyone is familiar with a quote from the film National Lampoon's European Vacation, and the London skyline is undoubtedly dominated by the most recognizable and adored clock tower on the entire globe. Although the 96-meter tower is known as Elizabeth Tower, Big Ben is actually the name of the bell within, which weighs more than 13 tons. In 1834, a fire completely destroyed the historic Palace of Westminster, which today serves as the location of the British government's parliament. Plans for a new stone structure in the Gothic Revival style was created about 10 years later. The elaborate Parliament building and the tower took 30 years to construct, and Charles Barry designed them to effortlessly blend in with the still existing medieval structures. The tower is a globally recognizable symbol of British culture. It is one of the most recognizable representations of the UK in parliamentary democracy, and it frequently appears in the opening scene of movie set in London. Since 1970, the clock tower has been a component of a Grade 1 listed structure, and since 1987, it has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A 4-year refurbishment project for the tower started on August 21, 2017. A lift was added, the clock dials were reglazed and painted, the lighting was upgraded, the roof tiles were repaired, and other changes were made. The bells are to be silent until the construction is finished in 2022, with a few exceptions including New Year's Eve and Remembrance Sunday. Number 25. Christ the Redeemer. The only contemporary building chosen to be one of the new 7 wonders of the world is a 30-meter tall Art Deco statue with outstretched arms that guards Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was finished in 1931. The Taj Mahal, Petra, the Colosseum, Chichen Itza, Machu Picchu, the Great Wall of China, and Chichen Itza are the other 6. Even those who are not religious are moved by the magnificence of Christ the Redeemer, which is perched over 700 meters above the sea on Corcovado Mountain. The statue, also known as Cristo Redentor locally, is a feature of Tuhica National Park, the world's largest urban rainforest. The original concept of Christ the Redeemer has evolved significantly. The original design included a huge Christ holding a cross and a globe in each hand. The project organizers initially approved the concept, but it was later changed to the current statue with the arms outstretched. The statue, which stands at the top of Rio de Janeiro's 700-meter-tall Corcovado Mountain in Tijuca National Park, weighs 635 metric tons. The statue, which serves as a global emblem of Christianity and a cultural landmark for Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, was chosen as one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Number 24. Sydney Opera House. You will certainly recognize the towering arches of the structure over Sydney Harbour, Australia, even if you've never been to the opera. A report to UNESCO World Heritage, of which the structure is now a member, states that it stands by itself as one of the undisputed triumphs of human creation, not only in the 20th century, but in the history of humankind. The vaulted shells of the 1973 Open Opera House, which was designed in the late 1950s and has a dramatic setting to match the drama of the performing arts it houses, seemed to explode out of its harborside setting, at once fully modern but also evoking emotion. The roofs of the shells are covered in 1,056,006 Sydney tiles, which are constructed of a special mixture of clay and crushed stone. The structure and its surroundings take up the entirety of Bennelong Point on Sydney Harbour, between Farm Cove and Sydney Cove, close to the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Royal Botanic Gardens. The structure houses several performance spaces that collectively stage well over 1,500 performances each year, drawing more than 1.2 million spectators. Numerous performers, including 3 resident companies, Opera Australia, the Sydney Theatre Company, and the Sydney Symphony Orchestra, present performances. Number 23, the Great Wall of China. This wonder of construction rolls across the Chinese terrain, blending in with the area it was intended to guard. The Great Wall actually consists of numerous branches spanning thousands of kilometers, not just one wall. The length of the military defense system, which was constructed over 2 millennia from the 3rd century BCE to the 17th century CE, was probably over 20,920 kilometers. According to the Guinness World Records, although there's currently much less of it left, the wall is still the longest in the world, with 3,460 meters of its main line and almost the same number of branches and spurs. It is impossible to not be in awe of the sight of one of mankind's greatest architectural accomplishments. In addition to providing protection, the Great Wall served other objectives such as enforcing border laws, allowing taxes to be levied on goods traveling along the Silk Road, regulating or promoting trade, and managing immigration and emigration. The addition of watchtowers, troop barracks, garrison stations, the ability to signal with smoke or fire, and the fact that the Great Wall's route functioned as a transportation corridor all contributed to the Great Wall's increased defensive capabilities. Number 12, the Colosseum. Rome's ancient sites are all breathtakingly gorgeous. The Roman Forum, Palatine Hill, the Pantheon Temple, and the Circus Maximus are all relics of a once vibrant and prosperous city. The Colosseum, however, is one location that exemplifies all of ancient Rome's splendor. It was constructed for the same purposes as modern stadiums, sport and entertainment, and was a vast stone amphitheater initially coated in marble and travertine. The construction of this enormous building, which could seat more than 50,000 spectators, took 8 years from 72 to 80 CE, though it underwent some renovations later. The entertainment tended to be bloody, just like in the Gladiator movie, with actual gladiators fighting to the death. Additionally, executions took place there, and it was even flooded for a simulated naval war. You almost hear Russell Crowe's "Are you not entertained?" yell in Gladiator when picturing these magnificent occurrences at the Colosseum. Travertine limestone, tuff or volcanic rock, and brick-faced concrete were used to construct the Colosseum. It was used for gladiatorial contests and public spectacles like animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous battles, dramas based in Roman mythology, and short mock-sea battles. In the early medieval period, the structure stopped being used for entertainment. Later, it was used again for things like homes, workshops, religious order apartments, a castle, a quarry, and a Christian shrine. Number 21. Neuschwanstein Castle. While there are many stunning castles in Germany, Neuschwanstein in Bavaria must be the most idyllic. The mountain landscape inspired Ludwig II, known as the fairy tale king, to build a romantic castle reminiscent of those seen in old literature. He was successful in his endeavor. He was tragically found dead in a lake in 1886. The castle wasn't mostly built until 1892, and he wouldn't survive to see the completely finished structure. Despite not being particularly tall, Neuschwanstein offers the sensation of floating over the surrounding countryside due to its location atop a mountain, which also made building the castle challenging. Its beauty, however, is unmatched. King Ludwig II of Bavaria commissioned the mansion as a getaway in a tribute to Richard Wagner. Ludwig decided against using Bavarian public money to build the palace and instead used his own fortune and a significant amount of borrowing. Although it started in 1869, construction was never finished. The king was supposed to use the castle as his personal abode until his death in 1886. Soon after his passing, it became accessible to the general public. Since then, Neuschwanstein Castle has welcomed more than 61 million visitors. Annual visitor numbers exceed 1.3 million, peaking at 6,000 per day in the summer. Number 20. Angkor Wat. In the Middle Ages, this elaborately constructed Buddhist, formerly Hindu temple complex in Cambodia became a significant place of pilgrimage. With its 5 towers, bas-reliefs, 3D images carved into stone, and astounding grandeur as the biggest religious structure in the world, Angkor Wat is now adored by people of all religions. It also resembles a scene from an action movie because large trees appear to be growing out of stone itself, and some of the ruins have been taken over by the jungle. Many of the temples in the Angkor region are worth visiting, but Angkor Wat is regarded as the best in the area and is depicted on the Cambodian flag. Angkor Wat is the only temple at the location that has continued to serve as a prominent religious center since its founding, making it the best preserved temple there. The temple represents the pinnacle of Khmer architecture's high classical style. Given that it was instrumental in making Cambodia a Buddhist country, it is one of the most significant Buddhist pilgrimage destinations in Cambodia and the globe. It is the biggest tourist destination in the nation and has been adopted as a national symbol of Cambodia. Number 19. St. Basil's Cathedral. With its vibrant colors, colorful patterns, and swirling stripes on domes that resemble cupcake icing, this vibrant cathedral has the appearance of a delicious delight. In reality, these are onion-shaped domes, but we prefer cupcake frosting. This Russian monument in Moscow's Red Square was built in 1561 by Ivan IV, often known as Ivan the Terrible, and in some respects it resembles a jumble of colors and shapes. However, the design's unexpected playfulness adds to its charm. Surprisingly, the layout is well organized, with 8 chapels arranged around a main church. The hues were added 100 years after the original color scheme, which may have been white with gold domes, giving it a completely distinct look. The cathedral is shaped like the flame of a bonfire rising into the sky and has 9 domes, each of which represents a separate church. According to Dmitry Shevardovsky's book Russian Architecture in the West, there's no other Russian structure like it. In the entire millennium of Byzantine tradition, from the 5th to the 15th century, there is nothing like it. The peculiarity astounds with its unexpectedness, intricacy, and brilliant interweaving of the various design aspects. The cathedral marked the peak of 17th century Russian national architecture. Number 18. The Empire State Building. It was climbed by King Kong. Couples exchanged vows on Valentine's Day atop it. It is the most photographed structure in the world, and it has dominated the New York skyline for almost a century. The Empire State Building, which was completed in 1931 and has 102 stories and a height of 381 meters, was the highest structure in the world before the World Trade Center was constructed in 1970. Its modern bird-wing buttresses add to the 1920s and 1930s architecture as they flank the glass tube at the top of its slender profile. The 102nd floor is located at the top of the tube right before the spire. The Chrysler Building, which debuted in New York City in 1930, may be the only skyscraper to rival its beauty, but the Empire State surpassed its competition in both height and popularity to take the top spot among the city's landmarks. The Waldorf Astoria Hotel was constructed on the site of the Empire State Building in Midtown South in 1893, between West 33rd and 34th Street. Empire State Inc. purchased the property in 1929 and created designs for a skyscraper there. The Empire State Building's design was altered 15 times before it was decided that it would be the highest structure in the world. The building opened on May 1, 1931, 13 and a half months after construction began on March 17, 1930. Despite positive coverage around the building's construction, its owners did not turn a profit until the early 1950s as a result of the Great Depression and World War II. Number 17. Petra. Petra, Jordan, also known as the Rose City, is an ancient city that dates back 2,000 years and rises out of Jordan's gorgeous reddish-pink sandstone. The ruins, which were gradually abandoned following an earthquake, serve as a menacing reminder of that desert realm. The Treasury, one of Petra's most amazing buildings, is a strangely elegant sight in the surrounding natural landscape. It is situated at the foot of a gorge. When it was featured in Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, its stunning facade gained even more notoriety. Another stunning sight is the monastery, a structure that was hewn directly from the rock from which it was constructed. The Nabateans made a significant profit from their trade, and Petra was where they concentrated their wealth. The Nabateans were able to fend off attacks by taking advantage of the area's rocky environment because, unlike their attackers, they were used to living in the desolate deserts. They were especially adept at farming, stone carving, and collecting rainwater. Petra flourished in the 1st century AD when the Al-Khazneh edifice was built and its population reached a high of about 20,000 people. This monument is thought to be the mausoleum of the Nabatean monarch Aretas IV. Number 16, Machu Picchu. The incredible Incan complex in Peru, which is more of a city than a structure, was lost for 740 meters above sea level in the tropical jungle until it was unearthed in 1911. Machu Picchu was constructed in the 15th century, but after the Spanish conquest of the Incas, it was abandoned. Terraces for cultivation encircled the main citadel. Other structures, such as the Sun Temple, whose window is in line with the summer solstice, were used for religious and astronomical purposes. Machu Picchu is unquestionably a sacred site, and even today we're affected by the sight of it. The exact reason it was erected is unknown. The majority of contemporary archaeologists concur that Machu Picchu was built as a residence for the Inca ruler Pachacuti from 1438 to 1472. It is known as the lost city of the Incas and is the most well-known representation of Inca culture. The estate was constructed by the Incas around 1450, but left it unoccupied until the Spanish conquest a century later. The latest AMS radiocarbon date indicates that it was inhabited between roughly 1420 and 1532. The site, which is located on the lesser mountain of the same name, is thought to have been known by the Incas as Huayna Picchu, according to historical research released in 2022. Number 15, Stonehenge. The stone circle at Stonehenge in Wiltshire, England, is entrancingly mysterious and linked with the solstices. It appears to have no useful function, hence it is considered to have been created for spiritual motives. We don't know exactly how it was built either. It dates back to the Neolithic Age, 4,500 years ago, and the stones weigh up to 30 tons. But because of how well measured it is obvious that the engineers and builders knew what they were doing and used simple equipment to complete the task. It's even more amazing that it's still standing today. You take a virtual tour or visit virtually using Stonehenge's live skyscape, which allows you to see the sky from inside the stones in real time. Number 14, Versailles. The Palace of Versailles is one of the largest royal homes ever built, a masterwork of excessive scale and extreme luxury. The castle, which was first constructed as a hunting lodge outside of Paris, was significantly enlarged starting in 1661 by King Louis XIV, also known as the Sun King. To effectively show his riches and power, he continued to expand it up until his death in 1715. He also used it as a venue for huge celebrations and festivities. The palace's lavish interior, which includes 357 mirrors in its 73-meter-long hall of mirrors, matches its enormous exterior. The splendor of Versailles has rarely been matched, and it also features some of the most iconic royal gardens in the entire world. Number 13, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This bell tower's distinctive beauty is a combination of natural beauty and the builder's mistakes, who were overly ambitious. However, given that the bell tower was one of the largest in the Middle Ages, they might be excused. Additionally, their mistake worked to their advantage because the shaky base caused the tower's famed tilt. The tower in Pisa, Italy was started in 1173 and finished 200 years later. It has undergone numerous restoration attempts to try and stop the lean and prevent the tower's collapse, and in 2008, they appear to have been successful. The lean is currently at 4 degrees with the top about 5 meters off the vertical from the base below, and it should hold that way for the next 200 years. Without the leaning, would the Leaning Tower garner as much attention? It's still a very attractive building with 207 columns in total and 30 white marble arches in each of the building's middle 6 stories. Number 12, the Parthenon. This famous ancient Greek temple can be seen from all over the surrounding city because it is located on the Acropolis, a rocky outcropping and natural fortress in the middle of Athens. This temple still has the ability to mystify all who gaze upon it, even if it's in ruins. This marble structure honoring Athena, the goddess of war and knowledge, was constructed circa 440 BCE and is embellished with sculptures and reliefs of gods and battles. The Eglin marbles, a group of statues that were taken out of the Parthenon and placed in the British Museum, are still up for discussion today. Number 11, the Forbidden City. The ominously named Beijing Imperial Palace Complex is a magnificent feast of Chinese architecture in all its vibrant richness. The Forbidden City, which was finished in 1420, is actually made up of a number of buildings that are encircled by a 3-kilometer wall and a moat. It is exquisitely ornamented with colorful accents, legendary animals, and distinctively formed sweeping roofs, mostly in the colors of yellow and red. It was referred to as being forbidden because Common people were not permitted inside because the emperor was seen to be a son of heaven. The Hall of Supreme Harmony, the Forbidden City's grandest structure, is where the throne is located, perched above three marble terrace levels. The royal palaces are located beyond. Number 10. La Sagrada Familia. The unusual architecture of Barcelona's favorite son, Antoni Gaudí, is well known across the world. His art defies explanation. It is filled with curves, hues, and textures that appear to be both the creation of a master and something a young child molded from Play-Doh. La Sagrada Familia, a church he started building in 1882 and is still constructing, final completion is anticipated in 2026, is his most incredible work of art. The church has numerous tall spires and points along the roof that give it the appearance of a sandcastle. It's also embellished with stone and plaster sculptures and decorations, as well as colorful pinnacles. Additionally, La Sagrada Familia is home to some of the most magnificent stained glass windows ever created. Number 9. Moai of Easter Island. Additionally, there's nothing like these enormous heads anyplace on Earth, with their long, wide noses, muscular chins, and mouths placed in an apparent determined attitude. Nearly 1,000 of the statues reflect this somber beauty across Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui in the Pacific Ocean. The sculptures, known as moai, were created by Polynesians using volcanic rock from a nearby quarry between 1400 and 1650. Although the megaliths average about 120 centimeters in height and weigh more than 90 tons, it remains unclear how they were moved throughout the island. We only conceive of them as heads, but some archaeologists have found evidence that they also had bodies that were buried. The moai's mysterious and spectacular yet exquisite design is mesmerizing. Number 8. The Statue of Liberty. Visitors and immigrants to New York Harbor have been greeted by a different kind of statue more than a century. The neoclassical Lady Liberty, a gift from France in 1886. Interesting fact, there's a miniature Statue of Liberty in Paris as well. Is dressed in flowing robes and a crown, wields a torch, and is inscribed with the date July 4th, 1776 on a tablet. She's 93 meters tall, including the pedestal, and is composed of copper, which when exposed to air, takes on the characteristic green color it has today. When she was first unveiled, she was the color of a penny. Although she is artistically stunning, she also appeals to people because she represents freedom for Americans and those who immigrated to the country in search for a better life. In actuality, she goes by the name Statue of Liberty, enlightening the world. Number 7. Chichen Itza. The enormous step pyramid known as the Castle or Temple of Kukulkan at the historic ruins of Chichen Itza is the most astounding pre-Hispanic building of Mesoamerica and may be seen in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. The most beautiful buildings at Chichen Itza were constructed around 900 CE after the Toltecs took control of the city, which had been founded by the Mayans. The central building, which bears the name Kukulkan after the feathered serpent-headed Mayan god, is approximately 30 meters high and contains 91 stairs in each of its four sides. In order for the temple to be aligned with the sun, such that the shadow of a serpent seems to crawl down the pyramid during the spring and fall equinoxes, the architects had to have a precise understanding of algebra and astronomy. Number 6. The Blue Mosque. There are numerous stunning sites of worship in Istanbul, Turkey, but some could argue that the Blue Mosque and the church-turned-museum Hagia Sophia are the two most stunning. Although they're both of comparable design, we have decided to go with the Blue Mosque due to its elegance and attention to detail, including its 6 graceful minarets, 1 main dome and 8 minor domes, and stunning stained glass. The interior decoration of the mosque, which is adorned with 20,000 ceramic Iznik tiles in vivid blue, green, and turquoise, is what really sets it out and gives it its name. The decorations are finished with reds, yellows, and gold calligraphy, forming patterns, geometric bands, and medallions with floral, fruit, and cypress tree themes. It was constructed in 1616 and is formally known as the Sultan Ahmed Mosque after the monarch who ordered it. Number 5. Highclere Castle. The true English manor home is one of the most magnificent in Britain, and there are plenty to select from. It is better known as the setting for the television show Downton Abbey. The Earls of Carnarvon have lived on the property since the 17th century, but the current castle was built in the Victorian era. A central tower and 4 subsidiary towers are located at each corner of the approximately square but not quite symmetrical Highclere Castle. The spires on the towers and the roof give the castle its towering aspect. The inside matches the imposing exterior in quality. The saloon is ringed by a second-floor gallery and has a 3-story, 15-meter high roof with skylights. The gallery is accessed through an elaborate oak staircase. Number 4. Mont St. Michael. What distinguishes this monastery from others, though it's certainly stunning up close, is the breathtaking view from a distance. Mont St. Michael is a tiny island perched on a small but high crag just off the Normandy coast of France. When it's foggy outside, the abbey's spire appears to float above the clouds. The island is encircled by water at high tide. At low tide, a sand walkway connects it to the village below. When the monastery was founded in the Middle Ages, its ambiguous surroundings must have given it an air of peril and mystery that still permeates the abbey now. Number 3. Giant Buddha of Leshan. This amazing 70-meter tall Buddha was carved out of the red sandstone rock in the 8th century on Mount Eme, the first Buddhist center in China. The Buddha, the largest ancient Buddha in the world, is situated in the Mount Eme scenic area, an area of protected natural beauty. He's also partially covered by green flora, giving the impression that he's wearing the forest. His peaceful visage, painstakingly carved, gazes forth at the confluence of 3 rivers. His long ears are made of wood that has been plastered in mud to help them stick to the rest of the stone head, and his hair has more than 1,000 buns in it. The Buddha has not been damaged by rain because of a smart drainage system that is insane. Number 2. Burj Khalifa. This high-tech yet beautiful building in Dubai, which rises more than 820 meters, blends the very old with the ultra-modern. Its long, thin cylinders appear to spiral upward and come to a point like a needle. The outside of the Burj Khalifa, which was completed in 2010, is made up of roughly 26,000 hand-cut glass panels that reflect light. The structure's elegant but understated aesthetic may have been influenced by nature. Its floor plan was based on the shape of the local Hymenocalyst or spider lily, a desert flower. Number 1. Paro Tuksang, or Tiger's Nest. This monastic complex in Bhutan's Himalayan mountains defies gravity. Its creative name, Tiger's Nest, conjures up an unsafe but secure hideaway, which is precisely what it is. The location was supposedly discovered by the Buddhist guru, Guru Padmasambhava, who is reported to have flown there on the back of a tiger according to the name's origin. Buddhist temples are placed on top of one another and protrude from the rock in a vibrant combination of white, crimson, and gold. These temples were built in 1692 against the edge of a cliff, approximately 915 meters above the valley below. The significant spiritual and cultural site was rebuilt after a fire destroyed it in 1998. The present structures, however, are not the originals. This ends the video. We appreciate you watching our video through to the end. What do you think about these man-made wonders? Please share your opinions in the space provided below. Please subscribe to our channel if you enjoy what you see to see more amazing videos like this. Take care until the next video.